If you want to use a particular font in your websites, you might want to consider installing local web fonts rather than using an online service such as Adobe Edge Web Fonts. The advantage is that the fonts are on your own web server and they don't rely on JavaScript. In this lesson, I'll show you how to install local web fonts in Dreamweaver CC. But first you need some font files. There are many sources for web fonts, both on a paid-for basis and free. One of the best known is Font Squirrel. I've been to fontsquirrel.com and chosen this font, Ireland Sans. Font Squirrel says all its fonts are 100% free for commercial use, but it's a good idea to check the license for the individual font first. Here's the license for Ireland Sans, and it's a very generous open license that allows the font to be used and redistributed freely as long as it's not sold by itself. One advantage of using Font Squirrel is that it often provides what's known as a web font kit. There's that link for web font kit here. Let's just click that and scroll down a little. The kit for Ireland Sans provides the font in 4 different formats. Eventually, browsers should all support this format, WOFF, which is described as Compressed Emerging Standard. But we're not there yet. Unfortunately, you need all 4 formats. So click the Download at FontFace Kit button and then unzip the files somewhere convenient on your local computer. To save time, I've already done that. Here's my folder. Let's open it. And inside there are a lot of files. There are 4 for each weight and style of the font. Fortunately, Dreamweaver CC makes handling all these files very easy, so let's go back to Dreamweaver. To install a local web font, you need to go to the Modify menu and select Manage Fonts. Then select the second tab, Local Web Fonts. You don't need to fill in the font name, that will be done automatically. All you need to do is to click one of these Browse buttons alongside one of the formats that you know you've got. Well, we've got all 4 formats, so I'm going to select EOT font, click Browse, and I've already gone to the Ireland Sans FontFace Kit folder, and there are 4 different files there for bold italic, and regular. I'm going to select bold and then click Open. And Dreamweaver automatically populates the other fields with the relevant formats, and it gives the font a name. You can change the name up here if you want to, but I think that that's fine. But before you can add the font to Dreamweaver, you need to select this checkbox which confirms that you've properly licensed the fonts. Once you've done that, the Add button lights up and you click that to add it to the current list of local web fonts. If you want to add the other styles and weights, just go through the same process again, and any fonts that you add to this list here will be available in all of your Dreamweaver sites. And if you ever decide you don't want a font anymore, just select it here and click Remove. I'm just going to leave it with bold and then click Done. I've got open here highway_local.html, which you can find in the course assets in the styling text folder, and I'm going to apply Ireland Sans Bold to all the headings. So I'm going to select this selector here, H1, H2, H3 in the CSS Designer, and then go to the text section. For font family, open the menu, and Ireland Sans Bold is now displayed here. So I'll select that, and it looks as though it's been applied in Design View, but in fact what you're seeing is the default serif version. To be able to see the web font, you need to turn on Live View. So the headings are now being displayed using the local web font. And if you look in the Related Files toolbar, you'll notice that a new style sheet has been added here, stylesheet.css. Let's just click that to open it. This @FontFace rule tells the browser where to find the font format files. And if we go to the main style sheet, you'll see that an @import rule has been added to import that stylesheet.css. And it's referencing the web fonts Ireland Sans Bold folders. So if we go to the Files panel, you can see that there is now a web fonts folder which has been added, and inside there is an Ireland Sans Bold folder with all the necessary font format files and the style sheet. And when you eventually come to deploy your website on the internet, you'll have to upload that folder with all the files for the local web fonts to be displayed in the browser. At the moment they're local here in Dreamweaver, but when you deploy the website they also need to be local on your real web server. So to install one or more local web fonts in Dreamweaver, go to the Modify menu, select Manage Fonts, and then select Local Web Fonts. Click one of these Browse buttons and browse to the location where you downloaded the fonts, and Dreamweaver automatically detects all available formats, then asks to confirm that you've got a license to use them. Once you add a local web font, it then becomes available in all your Dreamweaver sites.